How do I qualify for real estate professional status? Jeff, do you want to play with this one, or do you want me to handle?
I'll do a little, and then you can correct me. So real estate professional has a hours commitment. I believe it's 750 hours a year.
So it's a minimum of 750 hours, but there's a second part to that too. You know that.
And the 750 hours can be earned by you or your spouse. What's your second one?
The second one is it has to be the number one use of your personal professional time.
No, correct.
Right. So the way I always explain this is if you did 1,001 hours doing bicycle repair and you did 1,000 hours of real estate, you do not qualify as a real estate professional. But if it's reversed and you did 1,000 hours of bicycle repair and you did 1,001 hours of real estate activities, then you do. And the reason this is important is because ordinarily your real estate expenses are offset your real estate income, and you can only take losses from real estate. In other words, the excess depreciation or repairs or whatever, your losses are limited to $3,000 a year against your other active income. So that's called the passive activity loss rules.
25,000.
25. Oh, if you materially participate.
If you materially
and then you have the then you have a $100,000 to $150,000 scale up.
Right.
There's some little nuances which don't burn your head with. The end of the day is there are restrictions on taking passive activity loss. Real estate professional status removes that restriction. The other thing that's really important about professional real estate professional status is it is per property. So if you have 3 properties, you'd have to meet it for each of the 3 unless you elect to aggregate all your properties on your tax return. We have seen this missed by accountants who don't do real estate. They don't aggregate, and there are actually cases on the book where people had to fight, and they literally had tons of properties. They easily met the 750 if you aggregated, but their accountant missed the aggregation election.
And the 750 hours is not just for your rental properties.
Any real estate activity.
Any real estate activity.
Yeah. And then Jeff was absolutely right when he said your spouse could qualify, either you or your spouse, if you're filing jointly.
So if you have a full-time job and you're getting a W-2, I can guarantee you that you will not legally qualify. Under audit, you're going to lose. However, if you have a full-time job and your wife does not, or your husband does not, they can qualify to be that real estate professional.
Yeah, we had a fun one. A good friend of ours and a colleague in Georgia was making somewhere between $2 and $3 million a year in his professional practice. And his wife qualified as a real estate professional. And he quite literally bought enough commercial property and did something called cost segregation, where you're rapidly depreciating it, where he generated enough loss off the real estate to offset his income. The IRS audited, he self-represented because he knew the rule, and it withheld. It stood up. His wife just did their real estate activities and he did their practice. And at the end of the day, she met the requirement for the real estate professional status, and the rule is pretty straightforward. IRS didn't like the outcome, but that's not their job. So they picked a fight, lost the audit, which is not uncommon. All right, so how do I qualify for real estate professional? Keep a log of your time and make sure that you're aggregating all of your real estate activities. Even if it's for a closely held company, it's still gonna match. It's still gonna work.